Understanding how ownership works in a limited liability company is crucial for entrepreneurs and business partners. Determining ownership percentage in an LLC affects everything from voting rights to profit distribution and tax obligations. Unlike corporations that issue stocks, LLCs indicate ownership through membership interests. These interests are typically calculated based on each member's initial capital contribution to the company. However, one of the key advantages of an LLC is flexibility in how ownership can be distributed. Ownership in an LLC can be expressed in two primary ways. First, through simple percentage ownership, where each member owns a specific portion of the company. Second, through membership units, which function similarly to shares in a corporation. Whichever method you choose, ownership grants members voting rights and entitlement to company profits. What makes LLCs unique is that ownership percentages don't necessarily have to match financial contributions. For example, if one member contributes $20,000 but will be a silent partner, while another member contributes no money but will manage daily operations, both could still have 50% ownership if that's what the members agree to. The operating agreement serves as the foundation for defining ownership structure in an LLC. This critical document outlines initial ownership distribution, profit and loss allocation, voting rights, and procedures for transferring ownership. While not required in all states, having a comprehensive operating agreement prevents misunderstandings and provides clear guidelines for handling ownership matters. An effective operating agreement should specify how profits and losses are distributed, which may differ from ownership percentages. It should also detail voting rights, as members might have different voting weights despite equal ownership stakes. Additionally, it should include rules on transferring ownership and procedures for adding or removing members. Over time, LLC ownership percentages may need to change due to new investments, member exits, or business restructuring. The process typically begins with reviewing the operating agreement, which should outline the procedure for modifying ownership. Most LLCs require approval from existing members before making any changes. When changing ownership, you'll need to update capital contributions if a new member joins or an existing member increases their stake. The operating agreement must be amended to reflect these changes, and depending on the significance of the ownership shift, you may need to notify the IRS and state authorities. State laws can impact how LLC ownership is determined and reported. Some states mandate reporting initial contributions, while others require ownership percentages to be disclosed in annual reports. In states without explicit LLC statutes, default rules may divide ownership equally among members unless otherwise specified. Unlike corporations where stocks can be easily transferred, selling LLC ownership interests often requires approval from existing members. Many operating agreements include a right of first refusal, giving current members the option to purchase the interest before an external buyer. The sale must be documented through a membership interest purchase agreement, and, depending on the circumstances, may be subject to securities regulations. Understanding LLC ownership percentage is fundamental to establishing a successful business structure. By carefully defining ownership through a detailed operating agreement, addressing state-specific requirements, and following proper procedures for any ownership changes, LLC members can create a solid foundation for their business while minimizing potential conflicts.